spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat.
Look at him go! Oh, baby.
The human drama of athletic competition.
Noses apart, I can't tell.
This is ABC's Wide World of Sport. The Triple Crown is the most sought-after achievement in all of racing, and often is decided not by minutes or even seconds, but by the mere click of a stopwatch. There were Alydar and Affirm battling through the stretch of all three races 19 years ago, each race closer than the last.
But it's going to be Affirm. Affirm escaped off and is going to win the 104th running of the Kentucky Derby. Alydar is second to Olivia in the minute. Affirm wins it. Alydar beaten by a neck. Affirm's got a nose in front as they come onto the wire.
Only 3 clicks of the watch separated them in the end, but all 3 favored Affirm, the most recent Triple Crown winner. In the Preakness of 1989, the click of the watch favored Derby winner Sunday Silence as he beat Easy Goer in one of the great races of all time.
Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Photo finish. Noses apart.
But that dream was shattered when Easy Goer won the Belmont. Last year, trainer Bob Baffert thought he had won the Kentucky Derby on his first try, but the click of the watch was in favor of Grindstone over Cavalier. 2 weeks ago, Baffert feared a similar fate in this year's Derby as Captain Bodgett surged alongside his horse, Silver Charm. This time, the impersonal stopwatch was in Baffert's favor by that single flick. 121 horses have won the Preakness, but only 11 have gone on to win the Triple Crown. Can Silver Charm make it an even dozen, or will the click of the watch tell a different tale today? Whatever today's story is, it'll unfold before a crowd of 90,000 and more gathered at Pimlico for Maryland's greatest annual sporting occasion. The young people, well, they gathered in the infield early by the tens of thousands. Others arrived at a more fashionable time. The weather, well, is pleasant right now and the track is fast. It's time then for the 122nd running of the Preakness Stakes, the second jewel in the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay at Pimlico. Preakness week is always interesting here, but this time there really has been extra anticipation. Why? Well, unlike last year's race, when the Derby winner was retired because of an injury before the Preakness, the first 3 finishers in Kentucky this year are here. So there's the potential of a continuing classic rivalry between Silver Charm and Captain Bodgett in the tradition of Alydar and Affirm, Sunday Silence, and Easy Goer. Bob Baffert, the trainer of Silver Charm, has been having a great time in Maryland, including throwing out the first ball at an Orioles game in beautiful Camden Yards. And Captain Bodgett, well, his home is at the nearby Bowie Training Center, so he arrived just an hour and a half ago. Win or lose, he'll have his dinner back in his own stall. So it should be a grand afternoon here in Maryland. So let's go up top to my ABC colleague in grand shape, Al Michaels.
Thank you, Jim. Always great to be in your hometown on this breezy day. And what a difference a year makes. Last year, as you mentioned, the Derby winner, Grindstone, was retired because of a knee injury. There was no electricity around the Preakness. There was no buzz at all. And this sport as a whole has really experienced a lot of problems in the 90s. But the sport appears to be rebounding, and it's symptomatic today, I think, that not only do you have the Derby winner returning, but you also have the top 3 finishers, and the stretch drive at Louisville was one of the best in recent years. You have 4 returnees. You have 6 newcomers, and a lot of people seem to think, look out for the fresh horse in the Preakness. That's really a myth. A fresh horse, a non-Derby starter, hasn't won this race since 1983. Here now is the field. We have 9 betting interests and 10 horses. 1 entry, Jack at the Bank and Hoxie, trained by Alfredo Callejas. The entry is at 40-1. Wild Tempest with Nick Zito, the conditioner, is 40-1. Then there is Freehouse. Right now he is a co-favorite at 2-1, the 3rd place finisher in Louisville. The best of the newcomers is Touch Gold. His odds 5-1. He gets Chris McCarron in the irons. Concerto, who was 9th at the Kentucky Derby, is 8-1, getting good backing today. New rider Mike Smith. Silver Charm, the Derby winner, is the 3rd choice of the bettors at the moment at 7-2. Then there's Frisk Me Now, a newcomer, at 20-1. Captain Bodgett, the Derby runner-up, at 2-1, and Crip 2, a newcomer starting from the outside, a long shot. Bob Baffert, who won the Kentucky Derby as a man who has become a media darling, and in the absence of Wayne Lucas, all of the attention really has been focused on Bob Baffert this week. And the trainer looking for the second leg of the Triple Crown with a win today is with Charles C. Canty.
Well, that Kentucky Derby victory had to be particularly gratifying for Bob Baffert after the job he did whipping a fat, lazy Silver Charm into shape to run the race of his life 2 weeks ago. But, Bob, that was a tough race on him. Are you satisfied you got the same Silver Charm you had, though?
Yes, this horse, I brought him here and I watched him train, and if he wasn't going great guns, I would have never run him. So I just feel that I think he's sharper today than he was for the Derby. I really trained on him hard for the Derby, and I backed off on him a little bit. But today he's showing me signs that when that gate comes open, he's going to be pretty aggressive today.
He rated nicely in the Derby, but there's not as much speed here today. Are you tempted to tamper with success?
Well, I mean, Gary knows he's a marked man now. You know, he's a target, so they're going to be watched. They're going to take. It becomes a rider's race a little bit around these sharp turns and stuff. But the main thing, Gary's job is to have him in contention at the top of the stretch, because we know we have a fighter, and he showed it in the Derby. And if you can have him at the top of the stretch within a neck or a half a length to any horse, I think he'll fight it out.
It's been a wild ride this spring, but Bob Baffert's thriving well too. The Silver Charmer, the trainer of Silver Charm. Al?
All right, thank you, Charlie. Great show coming your way today. Should be a great race. The Preakness Stakes from Pimlico in Baltimore.
The Preakness Stakes, the second leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. The Nicoderm CQ Stop Smoking Patch. You bring a commitment, CQ brings the rest. Lucent Technologies, we make the things that make communications work. And Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
The Stakes Barn all gussied up, and why not? It's Preakness Day, the biggest day of the meet. Paco Gonzalez is the trainer. Freehouse is the horse. And in a little less than an hour, he will come out of the gate, and the Derby third. We'll see if he can make it a Preakness first. First up, though, we have a race for 3-year-olds coming your way now. Not quite ready for primetime 3-year-olds, but good ones nonetheless. Mr. Starbuck in the Sir Barton Stakes in a mile on the 16th. Breaks from the inside at 14-1. Prince Justino has been scratched. Esteemed Friend is trained by Wayne Lucas, who is not here. He's in Kentucky today, 5-2. Wycliffe Man, 14-1. Tijano Couture at odds of 7-1. Then Fearless Play is 10-1. The favorite in the upcoming race is Too Smart at 9-5. Unite's Big Red is 6-1, and Valid Direction with Alex Solis is 7-1. So everybody getting down their bets, and we're fortunate in that Jerry Bailey does not have a mount in the Preakness, but we're going to use his services today for pre and post race analysis. A man who won this race in 1991 with Hansel. Jerry, you've ridden 3 races today, including 1 winner. How's the track playing?
I think the track's very uniform, Al. I came from about 4th position, 3 or 4 lengths off the lead. I was out in the middle of the track, lost some ground in the first turn, which is not advantageous here, but was still able to overcome it.
You know, I'm looking at this race. Alex Solis is going to be on the number 9 horse. He breaks out of the 9 hole with Captain Bodgett in the next race. Does he use this race to go to school on the next one? That's
a great point. I think it's a good reference point for him to use his horse in the Sir Barton race. He will be in the same position in the track, comes from about the same position mid-pack to back-pack. It's a great learning experience for him.
All right, let's see what happens as we get ready for the Sir Barton Stakes. And for the call of the race, here's Dave Johnson. Dave.
Well, Wayne Lucas does not have a horse in the Preakness, but he does have a horse in here, and if he's probably looking for a Belmont horse. He's won the Belmont for the last 3 years, so let's see if Esteemed Friend runs well enough for it to be his Belmont horse. Mike Smith is the rider. That's Esteemed Friend right there, moving into line. And Mike is aboard with a wireless microphone. Mike, how did your horse warm up today?
I warmed up great, Dave.
And the track's playing good? Congratulations on your earlier winner.
Thank you. The track's in great shape.
Safe trip.
Thank you now.
Tijano Couture with Joe Bravo acting up at the gate. Trained by Nick Zito. This race named in honor of Sir Barton, who won the first Triple Crown back in 1919. Jerry, what's it like when a horse acts up like this at the gate?
Well, this is a rider's nightmare that's in the 1 and the 2 hole. They're sitting in there long enough as it is, and then you have this kind of disturbance. What you try and do is keep your horse calm as you can for the first moment or two, and then when you know that the horse is going to be finally loaded, then you take your marks.
Now, what about the blindfold, Jerry, they're putting on the horse?
What that does is it tends to disorient a horse to where he does not know exactly where he's going, so he can't prematurely balk before he enters the gate. It's more of a confusion type mechanism than anything else.
And the fellow that you saw there is the starter who presses the button which opens the gates. And Bravo is in line with Tejano Couture, a son of Sewing Derby. Too Smart, and there is Fearless Play with Greg Hutton moving in. Edgar Prado's had 3 winners already on the card. The rider of Too Smart, he looks for his 4th. He's favored at 9-5. That's Edgar Prado right there in the black cap. Unites Big Red. And one back, Alex Solis, who will ride Captain Bodgett in the Preakness, and they're off. And on the outside, Too Smart gets the early lead. Esteemed Friend on the inside with Mike Smith second. Unites Big Red on the outside is racing third. And Wick Life Man between horses in fourth. Valid Direction in the blue colors gains ground quickly on the outside. He's only about 3.5 from the lead. They swing around the turn, race to the backstretch. Back on the front end, Too Smart leads at 3/4 of a length. Unites Big Red challenges from the outside. Then Valid Direction with the red blinkers in third. Esteemed Friend is tucked in striking position, fourth along the inside. Then Wick Life Man is fifth on the outside. At the rail, it's Tejano Couture, the horse that was giving them all the trouble at the starting gate. Third last at this point. Fearless Play is next, and the trailer is Mr. Starbuck, who's 13 lengths from the leaders. And the leaders on the inside, Prado looking for his 4th winner of the day. Too Smart has it by a long neck. Unites Big Red on the outside with Ruben Hernandez right there in the second spot. Then it's a gap of 2, and Valid Direction is racing third. At the inside, Esteemed Friend hasn't moved yet. He's 4th. The half in 45 and 4. Good time, 1:10 and 1 for 6 furlongs. Past the quarter pole, and on the inside, it's still Too Smart, who's trying to take it wire to wire. Up on the outside, Valid Direction with Alex Solis into the second spot, and down the stretch they come in the Sir Barton. On the front end, Too Smart holding on to the lead and drawing clear by 4 lengths now. Valid Direction is second, and Fearless Play on the inside along with Tejano Couture. Here's the finish. It's Too Smart by 5. Valid Direction was second, and a photograph between Tejano Couture and Fearless Play for the show spot. So Edgar Prado gets his 4th winner of the day. He's the leading rider here and king of Old Hilltop. Final time, 1 minute, 43 seconds. Al?
All right, thank you, Dave. So Too Smart, wire to wire in 1:43, and this is a pretty good horse. We said these horses, all 3-year-olds, not quite ready for prime time, but this guy looks like he's ready to move forward because he has now won 5 of his 6 lifetime starts and loves this track. He goes off at odds of 9-5, so he'll pay roughly $560. The winner of the Sir Barton Stakes, Too Smart, with Edgar Prado. The official results and a Preakness preview when we come back to Baltimore. Well, we're still waiting for the results to be declared official. Too Smart is the winner, and the reason at racetracks these days that results seem to be taking a little longer is because of all of the inter-track wagering that goes on around the country. By the time they computerize it and get all of the information from all of the other tracks, and so much is bet at other tracks, it is now official, and that's the reason we have longer delays than we did in the past. But Too Smart wins $560, $360, and $3. Valid Direction finishes second, $660 and $440, and Tejano Couture winds up third and pays $460 to show. The exact at $38, and the try pays $207. So the Sir Barton Stakes is over, and Too Smart, the favorite, wins it wire to wire, and there is the final order of finish. The Bud 1 airship providing the scenics today. A beautiful shot as you look down upon the Pimlico Racecourse, Old Hilltop in Baltimore, and a crowd of 90,000 or more gathering for the 122nd running of this Triple Crown Classic. Captain Bodgett in the barn, in the stakes barn, the Derby second, a horse who won the Florida Derby. He fanned up this morning. He's been training at Bowie Racecourse and made the 37-mile ride up here earlier this afternoon. As we go down to Jim McKay.
All right, Al, you know, there always seems to be a Maryland connection in the Preakness. Back in 1983, Maryland bred Deputed Testimony won the race. 2 years ago, Oliver's Twist finished a close second. Well, this time it is Captain Bodgett, who started here and whose trainer is most comfortable here at home. Home is the old Bowie racetrack, now just a training center. Gary Capuano trains his modest stable here. And here he returned from a trip to the Kentucky Derby that he never expected to make.
Captain Bodgett is flying. He's fifth in the red cap on the outside, top of the lane in the Derby. It's Captain Bodgett on the outside. Silver Charm at the rail. Those two to the wire. Here's the finish. Silver Charm by a neck.
It was almost, you know, like a perfect dream, you know. But, you know, like I said, we were, you know, a foot or so, or a foot and a half away from stardom, actually. But, you know, we had a great time. So many people behind you and rooting for you. And, you know, it's just a good feeling. It gets you right here, you know. But my father, he trained horses for 30-some years. And then my brother, he trains now. He's got a real big stable, 60, 70 horses, and does real well. My stock is mostly claimers. It's kind of nice to come up with a real good one like this one, you know, for what we deal with.
Gary had been uncomfortable with all the media hype in Kentucky, but home is different. Home, talking it over with an old friend.
I see you're all decked out in the right outfit.
Telling you, 38 degrees. Hey, how you doing?
Doing okay?
Yes, it is. I thought you left them in Kentucky.
There was a little bit too much weight on him. I think he, instead of carrying 126, I think he had 126,000 pounds on him at the 8th pole. When everybody jumped on and started riding.
Phyllis Sassini, owner of a modest stable in Maryland, sold Captain Bodgett for $500,000, but has no regrets. Gary, well, he didn't expect to keep the horse when it was sold to Team Valor.
I knew that the horse had always been for sale, and if somebody were to buy him, they would go to whoever trains for them. And very understandable in my business, and Team Valor's been great. You know, I'm sure tickled to death that they decided to keep him with me, and it's turned out so well.
As long as he's with Gary, I know he's in good hands.
It would just be a thrill to win the Preakness. There's one thing with this horse. No horse that's ever beat him once has ever beat him again. You know, and that's, you know, now we're going to try to do it one more time.
Well, you can't accuse Gary Capuano of being arrogant. Members of our team are stationed all over Pimlico today. Right now, let's go upstairs to Leslie Visser.
I'm with a man who's won the Preakness and almost won the Derby. Alex, I'm sure you've been over the Derby many times in your mind. Is there anything you wish you'd done differently?
Well, yes, win. That'd be something I would have done different, but that's how they're meant to be, and I guess that's how God wanted to be, and we had to live with it and just move forward and try to win the Preakness now.
What about for this race? This is a speed favoring track. Your horse comes from behind. How do you plan this time to beat Silver Charm?
Well, we got to see how we come out of the gate and see what is going to happen the first 200 yards and see how the race is going to shape up and go from there. Hopefully, if they're going too fast and then be behind a little bit, and if they're going too slow, I like to be a lot closer and just trying to follow the best horse in the race.
Well, best of luck to you. And Al, as you know, his horse did break his maiden on this track, and he's always tough.
He did it, Leslie, last August the 2nd, and interestingly, in a 5.5 furlong race, he broke his maiden by going wire to wire. There's an aerial view of the stakes barn, and the horses leaving the barn, making their way to the saddling area with the Preakness a little more than a half hour away. And we'll return to Baltimore right after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The Preakness Stakes, the second leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. The Nicoderm CQ Stop Smoking Patch. You bring a commitment, CQ brings the rest. Lucent Technologies, we make the things that make communications work. And Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks.
Well, Gary Capuano on the left, ready to saddle Captain Bodgett. Bob Baffert on the right. Trainer of Silver Charm, a live shot. Guys getting ready.
I had to pick it up.
You got the deal in the ear or no?
No, I just got the deal here.
Huh? The deal in the ear? I had the deal in the ear.
I'm getting the deal in the ear.
All right, so then him.
Checking out their electronic equipment as we check out the odds.
He says, let me know when we're live.
And take a look at this. Freehouse is now the favorite. A little more money bet on him than Captain Bodgett. Freehouse and Captain Bodgett each 2-1, and Silver Charm, the Derby winner, is 4-1, the third choice. Touch Gold, the newcomer, is 9-2. Concerto, the Derby 9th, is 9-1. Frisbee now at 25-1. Crip 2 at 45-1. The entry at 50-1. And we mentioned Touch Gold getting a lot of backing here today because of a brilliant performance that he turned in 4 weeks ago at the Lexington Stakes at Keeneland, as the horses begin to make their way from the barn over to the track. And we talked about that Lexington Stakes win 4 weeks ago. Touch Gold winning brilliantly by 8.5 lengths. But his trainer, David Hoffmans, talked earlier about why he skipped the Derby and pointed to the Preakness.
The reason we decided not to run in the Kentucky Derby was that the Lexington Stakes was only 13 days before the race. That's one of the reasons. The other one, the horses only had really 2 races this year, and we didn't want to put a whole lot of pressure on them.
The trainer, David Hoffmans, was the trainer of the winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic last year, Alphabet Soup, ridden by Chris McCarron. And as you look at Touch Gold, David Hoffmans was able to procure the services. There is David, of Chris McCarron. So the Hall of Fame jock will be aboard, and Chris McCarron is with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Al, we might ask him to do play-by-play going around the track today after he worked with us. Chris, you rode in your first Preakness 20 years ago. You've won it a couple of times. What do you need from Touch Gold today?
I can't believe it was that long ago. Anyway, I need a good, strong race from him, but I expect he's going to be stalking the leaders, I hope. He's got a lot of natural speed. The speed track has been playing for speed today. There aren't too many horses that have closed and passed any horses through the lane, so I want to be close all the way, and hopefully we'll have enough to run by those leaders when we turn for home.
As you know, not many horses, the history of horses who don't run in the Derby is not that good in the Preakness. What do you like about this horse?
That he's fresh. He's coming off a real strong race in the Lexington. He galloped down through the lane. He won by 8 lengths. He's only had 2 races yet this year. He's a fresh horse, and he's going against horses that have been knocking heads for all spring and all winter. So I think we got a great shot.
Well, best of luck, and we know that your mom, Helen, hasn't been feeling well, so we wish her the best. Jim?
Well, the focus of attention here still is, of course, on the Derby winner, Silver Charm, the only horse that has a chance to win the Triple Crown, and that $5 million total that goes with it. That kind of money, by the way, is new to Silver Charm. He was sold as a yearling for $16,000, sold again for $30,000, and eventually bought by Bob and Beverly Lewis for $85,000, which led to this scene 2 weeks ago at Churchill Downs. With Silver Charm's Kentucky Derby victory, trainer Bob Baffert experienced more than a thrill. It was an exorcism of the ghost of last year's Derby, in which he watched his horse Cavanier lose the lead and the race to the Wayne Lucas-trained Rhinestone.
That's what made the winning it so emotional for me. All week long, coming up to the race, I was in an emotional state, like I could have started crying at any time. You know, I never let anybody see that side of me all week long, not even my wife.
Bob threw his arms around me.
Oh, yeah, that was before.
And said,
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you, man.
It was so funny when I called home out that night, I was talking to the kids, and my 8-year-old Canyon, he goes, well, Dad, you won the Kentucky Derby, finally. And that just said it right there.
Silver Charm, the horse responsible for Baffert's redemption, was not one of the $1 million stars the Lewises had purchased and trained with Wayne Lucas. That association certainly has had success, including the star filly Serena's Song and Preakness winner Timber Country. But this is Baffert's year, and the combination of Silver Charm and the silver-haired trainer has proved a magic one. Lewis joined Baffert for the walkover to the paddock at Churchill Downs.
He was so cute. He says, I just want to know it would be okay with you, and I will stay out of your way. I'll walk 20 feet behind the horse, but could I sort of make that walk with you guys? I'd really like to, see what it's like. I said, yeah, great. That's the best part of the whole deal.
Baffert made his name training winning horses without paying a fortune for them. At $85,000, his Derby champ was a bargain.
I'd buy whether if they cost $100 or $200 or $10,000. If I love that horse, I buy the horse. I spend money like I spend it for myself.
People have made reference, well, how come you don't have more horses with Bob, or are you going to give Bob more horses to Bob now that he won the Kentucky Derby for you? And my best answer to that is, Robert, come forth with more horses.
Well, perhaps this one will be enough to last Bob Lewis for eternity.
But I mentioned to Beverly a few years ago, I wanted on as an epitaph, I would like to have a loving husband, adoring father, and winner of the Kentucky Derby. And now I'm going to change that a bit and request that Beverly put on there winner of the 123rd Kentucky Derby,
etc.
etc. And if we are so fortunate as to win one or two more, winner of the 1997 Triple Crown. Woo. Can you imagine?
And there are the Lewises live, and who better to round out the connections for a Kentucky Derby winner than a Hall of Fame jockey? As you take a look at the horse Silver Charm, who's been training extremely well here. Gary Stevens, who's won 3 Derbies, the jockey aboard this horse. And Gary is with Charles C. Canty.
Gary Stevens is riding in a stratosphere all his own right now, adding the Pimlico Special last weekend to the Derby victory. And Gary, how much does your kind of confidence, how much of an edge does that give a horse like Silver Charm?
Well, it definitely doesn't hurt. It gives him an edge, it gives me an edge, and I think what you call the zone, a lot of it is me having confidence in the horses I'm riding. I'm riding some great horses right now for some great trainers. Bob's getting this horse up to the race great right now, and that puts me in the zone.
What about Touch Gold? Speaking of his own, you were undefeated in 2 starts on him. How much do you fear him today?
He's a quality colt that's maybe lacking in seasoning just a bit. He's never raced against the caliber of horses that he's racing against today, but he is a force to be reckoned with. I am afraid of him. I'm afraid of 9 other horses in the race today. It's a big hill to climb, but we're working towards a Triple Crown. We want to get today's race out of the way.
Gary, good luck today. Gary Stevens, 3 Derbies, 1 Belmont so far. Al, no Preakness.
Right, Charlesy, he is 0-for-8 in the Preakness, and one of the horses he has to worry about is that horse, Freehouse, who has defeated Silver Charm twice this spring in California. And the bettors love Freehouse. This horse was 3rd in the Derby. Right now, he's the favorite for the Preakness at odds of 9-5. One of the more fascinating subplots of the Preakness, I think, is the game of musical jockeys that's been played. Jerry Bailey working with us doesn't have a mount. Pat Day doesn't have a mount. And you look at the favorite right now, Freehouse, Jerry. He was ridden by David Flores in the Kentucky Derby, but they took him off, the owners did, and Paco Gonzalez, and they put Kent DeSormo on, who cut his eye teeth here in Maryland, and this horse is now the favorite. What about that switch?
Well, that's the nature of the game, Al. You know, Kent DeSormo comes from here. He rode a lot of winners here. He's very comfortable over the track. And I think that they wanted a little change in tactics, and they went to Kent DeSormo.
Now, another change has been made with Concerto. George Steinbrenner, the Yankee owner, owns this horse. He, shall we say, there he has suggested a jockey switch. I'll tell you one thing. If this horse turns into clunker today, Steinbrenner will probably have a cop on his back in New York, or maybe he'll be pulling a hansom cab at Central Park next week. But he takes Marquez off, and he puts Mike Smith on, so he gets a real experienced rider.
Well, Mike has won the Preakness before, and I think that it was stated earlier that they needed to make a change, and the jock was the first thing to go. And And I talked to Carlos, and he said he was naturally disappointed. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be human.
There is Marquez. Let me ask you, Jerry, about the protocol here. Will Marquez offer Mike Smith advice, or will Mike Smith seek advice from Marquez about the horse?
Well, they're pretty polite guys, and I know they did talk earlier. Mike said he was sorry about what happened, but, you know, that's the politics of the game, and Carlos wished him good luck, and I think he was sincere.
It's the ultimate comes around, goes around business, and we'll go around to Jim McKay. Jim?
Well, as we've said, if Silver Charm wins today, he'll have the chance to make racing history by being the first Triple Crown winner in 19 years. Now, the last colt to even have that opportunity ran here back in 1989, and his Preakness was the greatest race I have ever seen. A true wide world of sports classic. As in the Derby, Easy Goer was again made the favorite as they went to the post in the Preakness. Sunday Silence's win in Kentucky just hadn't persuaded the bettors. Easy Goer in the black silks and red cap got off to a slow start.
Down the backstretch, Houston with Cordero leading the pack by 3 lengths. Northern Wolf is second, and now the Kentucky Derby winner. On the outside, Sunday Silence takes second, and here comes Easy Goer with a quick move on the outside with Pat Day. Going down the backstretch, it's Houston in front by a head. Easy Goer, the favorite, up to challenge. Sunday Silence between horses in tight quarters there.
I looked out of the corner of my eye and I saw Pat Day passing me, and when I was starting to move with him, Pat kind of put a little bit of squeeze on me and kind of made me check a little bit into Houston's hind quarters.
As I come up on the outside of Sunday Silence and Pat Valenzuela, Pat looked over, seen me coming, and a race riding tactic decided he would float me out towards the outside a little bit.
Sunday Silence with Pat Valenzuela takes the lead at the quarter pole. Easy Goer back into second position. Dancel coming on third in the stretch. On the outside it's Sunday Silence. On the inside Easy Goer. And down the stretch they come. On the outside it's Sunday Silence. Easy Goer with Pat Day. Back to challenge. Heads apart. Easy Goer on the inside with a slight lead. On the outside Sunday Silence. The rest of them far back. Here's the finish of the Preakness. Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Photo finish. Noses apart. I can't tell.
Dave, we have seen the race that everybody wanted to see here today. Two magnificent colts battling out head-to-head, nose-to-nose, down the stretch.
There's all kinds of things that run through your mind that you could have done or should have done that would have made up the difference.
I would have to say the Preakness race in 1989 on Sunday Silence is the best race I've ever ridden in my life. Sunday Silence was not going to let anybody beat him that day.
But in the Belmont, Easy Goer had his revenge. There was no Triple Crown winner that year or since.
This Wide World Classic brought to you by Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
18 minutes to the start of the 122nd Preakness. Earlier, Gary Capuano with Alex Solis.
Give that kick when he does, and you know, hopefully we can get there. If we can't, you know, we'll get what we can. And,
all righty.
Right?
Let's do it.
You know,
relax.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Have fun out there. That's what we're here for.
A minute or so ago, that exchange taking place, and we're going to take a look right now, along with Dave Johnson and Jerry Bailey at some of the horses. And let's begin with a look at Concerto. And Dave, this is a horse who had won 5 straight prior to a Derby, and his trainer is mystified as to what happened in Kentucky.
Well, Al, he did have a little traffic jam on the first turn. He's got a new jockey today. Shorter distance of the Preakness helps, and he has tactical speed. He could be in a nice second or third position at the clubhouse turn.
We just saw the connections of Captain Bodgett. What do you think, Dave? Can this horse make up a head today?
2 tough races in the last 5 weeks. I think he's going to back up a bit.
Losing by a head to Silver Charm in the Derby. Now we're going to take a look at Wild Tempest. And Jerry, he's trained by Nick Zito. This horse won his last race but carried only 108 pounds. He picks up 18 today.
Yeah, he really ran a good race the last time out, but he's stepping way up here, and it would really surprise me if he were in the first 3.
From the outside will break a gelding by the name of Crip 2, who has, I think, a very little chance to win the race, but he could really dictate the strategy here.
Well, I talked to Chuck Lopez. He's going to be on the lead, but if I was another jockey in the race, I sure wouldn't want to be behind him down the backside when he stops.
There he is, having won 3 races. His trainer says with a little bit of luck he could be 6 for 6, but he'll need a lot of luck today to go 4 for 7. And Frisk Me Now is another horse who won the Hutchinson Stakes at 105 to 1 in Florida. Well, Jerry, part of working with us, you know, is the fact that you have to go to the windows. And who do you like to win the Preakness?
Well, I've liked Silver Charm all along. I liked him after the Santa Anita Derby. I liked him going into the Kentucky Derby. And I think he's got the perfect post. Gary Stevens is doing absolutely nothing wrong these days. I like his chances.
And you're getting a decent price, better than I would have thought, at 7-2. Dave Johnson, you picked the winner of the Derby. Who do you like in the Preakness?
I'd love to see Silver Charm win the Triple Crown, but I think that stretch drive might have taken something out of him 2 weeks ago. I'll take the fresh horse. I'll take Touch Gold.
Well, I came here expecting to bet Silver Charm, but I'm always looking for a price, too, and I'll take the fresh horse, Touch Gold. And who will you touch, Chauncey?
Sounds like trouble here. If anybody can penetrate the top 3 from the Kentucky Derby, it'll be, to my thinking, Touch Gold. He looks dynamite. Leslie?
Charles Lee, Silver Charm is a big, tough horse, and he loves a good fight. Attention shoppers, you won't get a good price for this horse, but I think he'll win and have a chance for the Triple Crown. Jim, who do you like?
Well, I'm going to stick once more with Captain Budget, and I'll take a trifecta box of Captain Budget, Silver Charm, and Concerto. A reminder for you, by the way, that as an extra added feature today, ABC Sports is sending your way a live tote board feed right here from Pimlico on America Online. The keyword, ABC Sports.
Be careful.
Thank you.
We'll get him a
Thanks
clean
for
one.
being here.
Try to give him a clean one, you know.
Have some fun.
Don't have to stop him.
He looks terrific.
Okay.
Riders up, please. Riders up.
Moments ago, you saw Trudy McCaffrey, one of the owners of Free House, speaking with Kent DeSormo. Riders up. The saddling area here, what serves as the paddock for the Preakness, in effect, is on the turf course. All right, now here is the post parade for the Preakness. Number 1, part of the entry, Jack at the Bank. His only win was at Turfway Park on February 1st. He broke his maiden there. He is 1-for-7 lifetime, and his entry mate is the lightly regarded Hoxie 1A. Jose Santos is the jockey. This horse was 10th in the Wood, an entry that has no chance. Number 2 is Wild Tempest. He was first in an allowance race at Churchill on May 2nd, earning a spot here after a dismal 7th place finish on a sloppy track at the Wood. Nick Zito is the trainer. Number 3 is the favorite, Free House, who won the Santa Anita Derby, had a brilliant spring, finished 3rd in the Kentucky Derby, gets the services of Kent DeSormo, trained by Paco Gonzalez. Number 4 is the best of the fresh horses, Touch Gold, with Chris McCarron in the irons. David Hoffmans is the trainer. 2 brilliant races this year and 4 races as a 2-year-old. Number 5 is Concerto, owned by George Steinbrenner's Kinsman stable. Mike Smith, the new jockey. John Tomorrow, longtime Marylander, is the trainer. What happened in Kentucky, they wonder? Will it be better today? He was 9th at the Derby. The winner of the Derby was Silver Charm, number 6, not getting a great deal of respect, though, today. Third choice at 3-1, Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, with Bob Baffert and Bob and Beverly Lewis, the connections. Number 7 is Frisk Me Now. Eddie King has been aboard this horse in every one of his 12 lifetime outings. He is owned by Carol Dender and trained by her husband, Bob Durso. Captain Bodgett right now has a few more dollars bet on him than Freehouse as they go back and forth in the favorites role. Captain Bodgett, owned by the 32-person Team Valor. Alex Elise up. There is Barry Irwin, who heads the syndicate. Gary Capuano is the trainer, just missed by a head at Louisville. And Trip 2 rounds out the field. Chuck Lopez is the jock. Alan Borish is the trainer. Says this horse could be 6 for 6. He's 3 for 6 and has won $99,000, lifetime second in the Withers. There's your field. And now let's go to Jim McKay.
Okay, I was thinking thoroughbred racing is for aristocrats, not the people, not necessarily anyway, but the horses. For 300 years and more, the best have been bred to the best. Equine family trees can be traced to a single stallion of long ago named Eclipse. And yet, the first 3 finishers in this year's Kentucky Derby, in one way or another, are horses of the people. Silver Charm, the Derby winner, was a bargain basement yearling. Captain Bodgett has modest breeding, questionable tendon, even lives on the wrong side of the tracks. And Freehouse, well, almost the only people to breed to his sire Smokester in his first year were Freehouse's owners. Nobody else was interested. Yet if one of them wins today, owners of his descendants generations from now will point to that colt as the regal ancestor. Well, a self-made aristocrat, if you will. And that, in humans too, is, after all, the American story. On we go. Derby Day was a great time to be silver. Silver-haired trainer Bob Baffert cheering his colt Silver Charm to the ultimate racing victory over a charging Captain Bodgett, winning the Kentucky Derby. But will Silver triumph again today? Or might there be a gold rush? That's Touch Gold. He didn't run in the Derby, but just might tarnish the silver today.
And Jim, with post time just 4 minutes away, let's take a look at the Nicoderm post positions, because you have 10 horses, 9 betting interests, reading from right to left, from the inside, breaking from hole 1, Jack of the Bank. Next to him, Wild Tempest, then comes Hoxie. Freehouse comes out of the 4-hole. Next to him will be Touch Gold from post position number 5. And then rounding out the field, out of 6 will come Concerto, then Silver Charm from 7. Frisk Me Now breaks from 8. Captain Bodgett 9. And the speed horse, Trip 2, the outside horse in this 10-horse field. Now that we take a look at the odds, the entry owned by Robert Perez, 60-1. Wild Tempest, 50-1. Freehouse, the second choice, 2-1. Touch Gold, the best of the newcomers, is 9-2. Concerto is 9-1. Silver Charm, the Derby winner, is 3-1. The third choice, Frisk Me Now, 25-1. The favorite is Captain Bodgett at 2-1. The Derby second, and Crip 2 at 50-1. A lot of keys to the race. Chauncey, how do you see this race breaking down?
Al, we've got an absence of dedicated speed in this race, so we need to watch 2 horses in particular. One is Crip 2. See how fast he breaks from that outside post and just how far and how fast he carries this speed. But even if he's got enough speed to make the lead, he's not going to be in the game for long, but he could have an impact. The other horse to watch is Concerto. Watch for a complete reversal of form from the Kentucky Derby, where he did a fast fold. He has a new rider in Mike Smith, and he'll have something to say about the pace of the race. Now, just how fast these 2 take this field, the first part of the race will determine who will be the most effective in this race, the Stalkers or the come-from-behind horse, Captain Bodgett. Al?
All right, thank you very much. And Trudy McCaffrey, along with John Toffin, are the owners, co-owners of Freehouse. Trudy, your horse didn't get a lot of respect. In Louisville, they sent him off at 10-1, but everybody believes in this horse right now, 2-1, the second choice. What'd you think, by the way? I have to ask you about that workout the other day when the horse worked in 45-3. What'd you think?
Well, John and I were flying at the time, so we kind of didn't know what happened. But once we got here, Al, everybody said that, I mean, it was very much in hand. And when we sort of analyzed the whole thing, he did it so easily. This horse has absolutely fallen in love with Maryland. And I have to tell you right now, the Maryland Jockey Club has been absolutely fabulous to us. We've had a terrific time, and I want to thank them I wish all the field a huge, safe race. I think this is just going to be one of the best races of the Triple Crown.
Should be. Trudy, thank you very much. Good luck to you and John. There
Thanks,
is
Al.
Bob Baffert on the left and Bob Lewis, the owners of Silver Charm. And will they be going to Belmont Park with a chance to win the Triple Crown in 3 weeks? And Gary Capuano, a guy who was training Captain Bodgett, and then he was bought by the syndicate and thought that they would take the horse away, and they said, no, you've done a great job with him. And he has had the opportunity of a lifetime to take his horse to the Triple Crown Series. David Hoffman's a guy who won the Breeders' Cup Classic with Alphabet Soup at Woodbine last year, looking on, taking a look at his horse, Touch Gold. All right, the horses are ready to load for the running of the Preakness with the call of the race. Dave Johnson.
And 4 of the jockeys in this race are wearing wireless microphones. 2 of them are we're going to be on board with both Alex Solis and Chris McCarron, who are wearing the jockey cam. As they move into line, there's Wild Tempest, whose daddy won the Preakness. That was Summer Squall. Freehouse, Kent DeSormo aboard. They call this horse Rubberneck because he's always looking around, but he looks pretty still in the starting gate.
Easy, baby.
Mike Smith won this race on Prairie Bayou. He's on Concerto. The Derby winner, Silver Charm. Captain Bodgett, the favorite.
All right, he's coming in with that blindfold.
And they're going to blindfold, as you heard, Crip 2. Chucky Lopez, the rider. Chucky's daddy, Carlos Lopez Sr., a terrific gate rider, meaning that they get right out, get to the lead, even from the far outside. Expect to see that pink blur early on.
Hey, Gary! Stick him on, Steve! Stick him on! He's up here! Let's go. No.
Jerry Bailey, what's going on out there in terms of the jockey?
Taking him in circles before they try and put him in. The whole idea of the blindfold is to disorient him, and when you circle him several times, he forgets which way he's going. He doesn't know if he's going in, out, sideways, or what have you. Maybe he's a little smarter than everybody gives him credit for.
There you go.
Only 6 starts for Crip 2. And his sire, Crypto Clearance, was 3rd in the Preakness in '89. High percentage of favorites have won this race. 52%, 26 of them wire to wire.
Take it off.
Jerry, if you're in the gate, what are you thinking when another horse has a problem like
You're
this?
probably thinking, what in the heck is this horse doing in this race? But what can you do about it? That's the question. There's nothing you can do about it. You try and keep your horse as relaxed as possible and just hope for the best. And this is going to be a long ordeal.
Mile and 3/16, which is a 16th of a mile shorter than the Kentucky Derby. The stretch here at Pimlico is 82.5 feet shorter than the stretch at Churchill Downs. Not much time for the late runners. There's almost 3 minutes of hang time, those horses who were early on in the gate. Locked up.
On his feet. Hold up. All right, straighten him up.
And they're off. And Touch Gold stumbled at the start. Loses loses about 4 lengths. From the far outside as expected, Crip 2 takes the early lead. Freehouse, the gray, into second position quickly. Along the inside, Wild Tempest is third. Then Silver Charm on the outside is fourth. And Concerto Between Horses fifth. Frisk Me Now is sixth in the white cap. 2.5 back to Hoxie, who's racing seventh. Jack at the Bank at the Rail is eighth. Captain Bodgett in the red cap Between Horses ninth. And Touch Gold, who stumbled, was last out of the gate and is last but starting a run from far back. The first quarter in 22 and 4. We're on board as they race down the backstretch. On the front end, it's Crip 2 in front by ahead. Freehouse on the outside second, the Kentucky Derby winner. Silver Charm with Gary Stevens right there third, just one off the leaders. Wild Tempest on the inside with Bravo is fourth by ahead, and Concerto gains ground in fifth. Touch Gold is sixth on the inside Between Horses and looking for some racing room. Then on the outside, Frisk Me Now. Captain Bodgett is third last, and the entry last and second last. Around the turn. Now Freehouse has the lead by a neck, and on the outside, Silver Charmer second, Concerto 3 wide in third. On the inside, Touch Gold is fourth. Captain Bodgett, threading his way Between Horses, is now in fifth position. On the outside, Frisk Me Now is sixth. A tight pack as they straighten away in the lane in the Preakness. Freehouse in front. Silver Charm on the outside, coming on to challenge. Touch Gold at the rail, and down the stretch they come in the Preakness. On the inside, Freehouse. On the outside, Silver Charm. Noses apart. 50 yards to go. Freehouse and Silver Charm. Captain Bodgett is flying. Photo finish. Was it Silver Charm on the outside? Was it Freehouse on the rail? Neither jockey raising their arm in victory. It's a photo finish, noses apart. What a finish. Freehouse on the inside, the gray. Silver Charm on the outside with Captain Bodgett third, only a whisker away. There's the Kentucky Derby winner. Did he make it 2 out of 3? We'll just have to wait for the photo. The Preakness, its 122nd running, is the closest in its history. Al?
Dave, everybody thought that it was too good to be true to have a repeat of Louisville and make it even better here in Baltimore, but in fact, that was a lot better than Louisville. We don't even know who the winner was. I'm sitting here with Jerry Bailey, and as we look down from our vantage point with the naked eye, what did you think?
I thought Silver Charm got the bob, and when I say bob, I mean whoever's head is down the lowest. I think his stride caught on the wire the best.
So you think it was Silver Charm? Here's the reaction of the connections. Now you're looking at the officials looking at the stewards looking at the photo.
It looked like the 6 on the slow-mo in here, Judge.
And we're going to go back and take a look at the stretch run. A marvelous race, so reminiscent of 1989. We talked about the Wide World Classic, the stirring stretch duel. This another stirring stretch duel, and also featuring Captain Bodgett coming up as well, but he finished clearly third. Here it is. Jerry thinks the nose bob at the end. Freehouse on the inside. Silver Charm getting his nose down as they come to the wire. And I think you're right.
Yeah.
It looked like maybe half ahead, in fact, for Silver Charm. So we'll wait for it to become official, if indeed it is official, for the first time since 1989. And there it is. At least it's not official, but there are the results of the photo right now. And Bob Lewis on the right and Bob Baffert on the left, if this holds up, and there's no reason to believe it won't, will go to New York. And for the first time in 8 years, there is a chance that a horse will win the Triple Crown, something a horse has not done since 1978, the great duels between Affirmed and Alydar, with Affirmed winning all 3. So Freehouse with Kent DeSormo had the lead in this stretch, took the lead away from Crip 2 about halfway through the race and couldn't hold on. But these two horses dueling all spring long in California, and then dueling in Kentucky, and then dueling here again in Maryland. And today it is Silver Charm, the $85,000 purchase, who wins it. 154 and 4 is the time. And he goes off at odds of 9-2, and we go to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Well, this is the happiest group, and we have another one. Oh, Sherry Baffert's going to be joining us. Sherry Baffert, congratulations to all of you. First to the Lewises. You've been together 50 years. This has to be one of the greatest years. What are your emotions?
Oh, I can't believe what's happened. Oh, what a great 50th anniversary.
Oh, it is. Bob, what did you think coming down the stretch?
Oh, hey, we didn't even think of ourselves. Do you know what's just happened? We're going for the Triple Crown. Bob Baffert, Silver Charm, and the thoroughbred industry has risen to the very top.
Yes. Bobby, can you stand much more of this?
Well, I promised my kids they're all going to New York, so they're all happy. They're all going to go see New York.
Well, congratulations to all of you. They have silver, maybe on their way to gold. Al? Congratulations.
Okay, Leslie, just correcting the odds on Silver Charm. He went off at 3-1. When we came on the air, he was 4-1. He goes off as the third choice, which means he'll pay $8 minimum. Going off as the third choice in this field. Winning it here 3 weeks from today. We go to New York for the first time in 8 years, a chance for a horse to win a Triple Crown. Gary Stevens, the Hall of Fame jockey who's won 3 derbies but no Preaknesses. He was 0 for 8, is now 1 for 9. And the result is official. With Silver Charm paying $824 and $260. Freehouse finishing second at $360 and $260, and Captain Bodgett coming up for third at $240. The exact at $22.40, and the trifecta pays $38.20. So the 1, 2, 3 in Louisville finish 1, 3, 2 here at the Preakness. We'll be back with the replays, the ceremonies, and all of the rest in a moment. And we're back live at Pimlico in Baltimore, where Silver Charm has just won the Preakness to go with his Derby victory. Gary Stevens wins this race for the first time, and they'll put the colors up, the new colors of the new winner, as is customary on the weather vane in the infield. Bob Baffert, the former quarter horse trainer, the 26th horse to win the Derby and the Preakness. 11 have won the Triple Crown, and the ebullient Bob Baffert and his jockey and his horse coming toward the winner's circle. Let's go to Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Al, they're disappointed, but their horse did come through at the end. But Alex, it looked like he was out of it on the backside and then came through a little bit.
Yes, I was very fortunate when I got to the half of my pole. I asked him a little bit, and right away I wanted to follow somebody, so I was following Chris McCarron. And as soon as I got to the 316, I got him out in the clear, and he just like always, he's such a warrior. He just came back and tried to get him. Just unfortunately, the distance and the fast track really hurts today.
Yeah, tough day today. You were saying you still think your horse is a champion from the way he closed.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, he's a champ, and you know, the other two, they're champions too. I mean, you know, my horse, he overcame so much again today, just like he usually does. And you know, I don't make any excuses, because Silver Charm and Freehouse are both great. You know, it's just hard to separate these three. I mean, they're all fantastic. And I mean, it was an exciting race as it was supposed to be.
And we might see more of it at the Belmont.
You know, it looks like it. It looks like those three are pretty tough.
Good. Well, thank you very much. Over to Charles C.
And here's the middle element of that photo finish. Kent DeSormo aboard Freehouse. What a stretch run.
You don't know whether to laugh or cry. I tell you, it's a tough defeat. Definitely one that you think about for a couple days, but I'm sure that we'll look forward to the next one. He's what a tenacious horse. He, you know, turning for home, I didn't think he'd ever get by me, and he just gave me that feeling that Silver Charm must be doing a little better than we can expect. He just come and got me.
They're a tough team. Paco Gonzalez, you've had some frustrations here this week with getting the horse trained, and then to come down this close had to be awful hard for you.
Yes, it's like the Stormer say. Yeah, you know, I feel like I want to cry, but I'm very happy because the horse ran a big race. He ran really big. I'm very happy.
You should be. A big race from him. But Paco Gonzalez has been third in every Triple Crown race so far till today. He's moving up. Maybe next time.
A bit of improvement. He's looking for that #1 spot, though. There's a look at the photo. About half ahead right now as it's Gary Stevens on the in the middle, winning the race. And Freehouse on the inside second, Captain Bodgett on the outside. Dave Johnson, let's go back and look at the start. There's your winner.
And here is the eventual winner, Silver Charm. And just to the inside, in post position 2 over, is going to be the Touch Gold, who's really going to take the worst of the start. The action was in the middle of the gate, though, and Silver Charm comes away cleanly. Watch what happened to Touch Gold at the start. Here is Touch Gold. And Jerry, what happens at this point?
The ground completely broke out from under Touch Gold. It's as he broke so hard, the ground went out from under him. He loses all position. It's a big, costly mistake or an error in a race like this, especially at Pimlico.
And he ends up 4th. Backstretch.
And on the backstretch, as we look at it here, it is the early leader, Kriptu, who begins to fade, and it's Freehouse who has to assume command. But there is Gary Stevens, and he loves to stalk.
Oh, he does. Gary had the perfect position. As you can see behind Gary, Chris McCarron's getting up in the race. Touch Gold not only had the problem at the start, he has a little problem with traffic here. And again, as he turns for home, he'll have a problem. But Gary Stevens is right where he wants to be.
Freehouse on the lead, Silver Charm on the outside, ready to pounce.
Gary Stevens has got to have a big smile on his face right now. Concerto's looming up, but I didn't think he'd be a serious factor. The two true quality shows in the last quarter of a mile, and I tell you what, Kent not only had to worry about Silver Charm, but as he glanced over his arm, he sees Touch Gold heading up here, trying to sneak through on the rail.
Concerto made a mini move there. It looked like he would be a factor in the stretch, and then he faded.
And here's Captain Bodgett on the outside, going to finish 3rd in a powerful race. What a finish.
He really did. I think his style will suit Belmont a lot better. I think it was very courageous for him. He closed 2 lengths in the last 3 or 4 strides there.
So you got Freehouse on the inside and Silver Charm and Captain Bodgett. 3 of them across the track.
You got to give a lot of credit to Touch Gold, too. First time with the big boys, had a lot of problems and still only got beat a couple of lengths.
Silver Charm and Freehouse have now faced each other in their last 5 races. Silver Charm has won 3 of them. Freehouse has won 2 of them. And a look at the jockey cam right now.
Yeah. See, Alex Solis, what Silver Charm did to Alex in the Kentucky Derby is what Kent DeSorma and Freehouse are doing to Silver Charm through the stretch. As you can see, he's kind of pushing him out a little bit in front of him. And believe it or not, horses see that, and they get intimidated by that.
And Gary Stevens, who had lost 2 Preaknesses aboard Kentucky Derby winners, winning colors in Thunder Gulch, wins one aboard a Kentucky Derby winner.
Just a great horse race. What else can you say?
Fabulous finish. And connections in their box.
We gotta have you, Gary! We gotta have you, Gary! Get him up there, Gary! Go after him, Gary! Go, Gary! Go, Gary! Go! We did it, Robert! We did it! We did, yeah, we did! We did! Believe me, we did, Robert! Yeah, we did, Bob! We got it! Number 1, Robert! Number 1! Yeah, we got it, Robert! We got it, Nick! We got it! How we won! Great! Great! Yeah!
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
a photo.
Robert! Yeah, we did! We got it!
For Bob and Beverly Lewis, as their colors go up here, it's the year of their 50th anniversary. What a guy he is. He goes to a charity event the other night. Before the night's over, whips out a check for $10,000 for the charity. Today he wins the Preakness. Back in a moment.
87 Preakness was a rematch between Kentucky Derby winner Ali Sheba and runner-up Bet Twice. Both horses bided their time in the early running, but as the field turned into the stretch, Bet Twice had the lead with Ali Sheba closing in. In a test of courage and heart, they raced to the wire. At the end, it was Ali Sheba who delivered in the 1987 Preakness. 122nd Preakness Stakes. The second leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge continues from Pimlico Racecourse on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
For 36 years, Jim McKay has been coming on the air on Wide World of Sports talking about the thrill of victory. How's this for the thrill of victory? Bob Baffert right after the race.
Good job, buddy. Good job. How's it? Shit. Little short. Good job, pal.
No steeplechase horse ever went over a hurdle, real or imaginary, any better than Bob Baffert did right there, as his horse wins the Preakness. Silver Charm headed for a Triple Crown shot in the Belmont. There it is. He wins by a head over Freehouse. Captain Bodgett a quarter length back. Touch Gold had a horrible trip, still finished 4th. Frisk Me Now, Concerto, Hoxie, Wild Tempest, Crip 2, who's at the early fractions, and Jack at the Bank. Final order of finish, and down to you, Jim McKay.
Okay, thanks very much, Al. With the Silver Charm show open in Louisville, it's a major hit in Baltimore, and now it's on to Broadway, and perhaps that ultimate thing, the Triple Crown. Behind me is Carl Pasquarella, the chairman and CEO of Visa, sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. You may get a chance to fill up that $5 million total for Silver Charm.
Best $5 million we ever spent, and it's going to go right to California with Bev and Bob.
Here we are with Joe DeFrancis, the president and CEO of the Maryland Jockey Club, the oldest sporting organization in the United States. Joe, a great day and a great show.
Well, Jim, if I could steal a line that my dad used back in 1989 to describe the historic Sunday Silence and Easy-Goer duel, this is the best our sport has to offer.
No question about it.
I'd like to congratulate Bob and Beverly, and they're two of the nicest people in any sport. We're really, really thrilled for you. Congratulations.
With whatever voice you have left, let's introduce the governor of our state, Harris N. Glendenning.
Well, it's my privilege for the presentation of the most valuable trophy in sport, the Woodlawn Vase, to introduce the governor of Maryland, the Honorable Harris Glendenning. Governor?
Joe, thank you very much. And let me just, as I present this to Bob and Beverly, tell you what I heard out there, and it was just wow. This is a race that's going to be remembered for a long time. Maryland's proud of you, and the entire country's proud of you. Silver Charm was just a real charm out there. Wonderful.
Thank you,
Governor, thank you. Thank you so very much. That's very nice of you. Believe me, I accept on behalf of my wife, Beverly, this great trophy. It's emblematic of the great, outstanding sporting event of thoroughbred racing and what Gary Stevens brought to us today with that magnificent ride and the conditioning that Bob Baffert has brought. What a team the two of them are, and how marvelous it's been for Beverly and I to be associated with them. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Bob, immensely. You have made an old couple very, very happy.
Not that old. Hey, look who's... Get a shot here. This is a happy one-year-old, the grandson of Bob, or granddaughter of Bob and Beverly Lewis, who was born on Derby Day 1 year ago. Congratulations, sweetheart. Bob Baffert. I know you're usually at a loss for words, but try.
I'm pretty numb now. I mean, now that it's just sinking in that I won this race, and I think it's going to be great for racing, and I hope I don't let the racing fans down for the Triple Crown, and maybe Freehouse and Captain Bodgy will stay home and let me win the Triple Crown.
26 horses have won the Derby and the Preakness. Only 11 have gone on to win the Triple Crown. There is a rumor going around, Bob, that you're going directly to New York to the Winner's Circle at Belmont to wait.
Jim, you think that's appropriate? And I'll certainly do so. All right.
Okay. Congratulations all around. We'll be coming back with a word and a little replay with Gary Stevens, who is really on a roll. Stay with us.
It's the second leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service. Southwest Airlines, with fares so low you have the freedom to go places. And Mercedes-Benz, the company that symbolizes 110 years of experience and a new attitude.
We return to Baltimore, a program note, Clear and Present Danger, starring Harrison Ford and Ann Archer, coming your way tonight at 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central. And following our presentation from Baltimore, ABC World News Saturday, except on the West Coast, as we go back to Jim McKay. Jim.
All right, Al, thank you very much. Gary Stevens, in a 2.5-week period, you have been put into the Thoroughbred Racing Hall of Fame. You've won the Kentucky Derby, the Pimlico Special on this track, and now the Preakness Stakes. There's one more thing to do for an encore.
We need that Triple Crown bad, Jim. We need it. We need it. The sport needs it, and I'm just feel very fortunate to be riding a horse like I'm riding right now and associated with the Lewises.
Well, congratulations to you. It really couldn't happen to a better guy. We're going to pick up the race now at the far turn, and you bring us home. Let's take a look here.
Well, Kent had rode just a very tactical race, a tremendous race. I didn't want him getting away from me going into the far turn.
That's on Freehouse.
Exactly. I didn't want Freehouse getting away from me. I put my horse into a pretty long sustained drive, and I didn't know if I was going to get by Freehouse or not. The track has been favoring front runners all day long, and like I say, Kent had nursed his horse along. You see Chris McCarron coming up on Touch Gold down on the inside. But
and here comes the captain on the outside.
The captain, and neither Kent nor I knew that the captain was coming. And in this last 100 yards here, I got up to within a nose of Freehouse, but I couldn't get Silver Charm to stick his nose in front. He's still a good 6 inches in front of me, and thank goodness for Captain Bodgett coming running up on my hip, because when he did that, Silver Charm gave me another burst of energy and stuck his nose in front the last 2 jumps. Just a very exciting race. You see him get his nose down right here. There it is. That's pretty.
I'll bet. Beautiful, huh? Well, Gary, that one, in my book, will go down with Sunday Silence and Easy Goer, and that was the greatest race I ever saw.
That was the...
until today.
It was the greatest one I've been associated with. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, Gary.
I want daylight at Belmont. No more photos. I can't take it.
Can't stand any more of those nose finish. Well, 3 weeks from today, we will be at Belmont Park in New York for the 3rd leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. $5 million total for Silver Charm's owners if he wins on that occasion. Haven't had a Triple Crown winner in 19 years. No horse has had a chance in the last 8 years. What a day it should be at Belmont Park. So congratulations all around one more time. What? Oh, the tie, the lucky tie.
The lucky tie, man.
You know, it's a dreadful looking thing, but you better hold on to that rag.
That tie's going to go in the Hall of Fame, you know, Jim. Not Robert.
There's that smile. Keep it on for us for 3 more weeks. It's been a great day at Pimlico. The sun is still shining. Everybody on this stand is happy, and we're going to go away for three weeks only and come back with the Belmont.
Bob Baffert, who won the Kentucky Derby as a man who has become a media darling, and in the absence of Wayne Lucas, all of the attention really has been focused on Bob Baffert this week, and the trainer looking for the 2nd leg of the Triple Crown with a win today is with Charles C. Canty.
Well, that Kentucky Derby victory had to be particularly gratifying for Bob Baffert after the job he did whipping a fat, lazy Silver Charm into shape to run the race of his life 2 weeks ago. But, Bob, that was a tough race on him. Are you satisfied you got the same Silver Charm you had, though?
Yes, this horse, I brought him here and I watched him train, and if he wasn't going great guns, I would have never run him. So I just feel that I think he's sharper today than he was for the Derby. I really trained on him hard for the Derby, and I backed off on him a little bit, but today he showed me signs that when that gate comes open, he's going to be pretty aggressive today.
He rated nicely in the Derby, but there's not as much speed here today. Are you tempted to tamper with success?
Well, I mean, Gary knows he's a marked man now. You know, he's a target, so they're going to be watched. They're going to take. It becomes a rider's race a little bit around these sharp turns and stuff. But the main thing, Gary's job is to have him in contention at the top of the stretch, because we know we have a fighter, and he showed it in the Derby. And if you can have him at the top of the stretch with within a neck or a half a length to any horse, I think he'll fight it out.
It's been a wild ride this spring, but Bob Baffert's thriving well too. The Silver Charmer, the trainer of Silver Charm. Al?
All right, thank you, Charlie. Great show coming your way today. Should be a great race. The Preakness Stakes from Pimlico in Baltimore.
The Preakness Stakes, the 2nd leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. The Nicoderm CQ Stop Smoking Patch. You bring a commitment, CQ brings the rest. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work. And Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
The Stakes Barn all gussied up, and why not? It's Preakness Day, the biggest day of the meet. Paco Gonzalez is the trainer. Freehouse is the horse. And in a little less than an hour, he will come out of the gate, and the Derby 3rd. We'll see if he can make it a Preakness 1st. First up, though, we have a race for 3-year-olds coming your way now. Not quite ready for primetime 3-year-olds, but good ones nonetheless. Mr. Starbuck in the Sir Barton Stakes in a mile on the 16th breaks from the inside at 14-1. Prince Justino has been scratched. Esteemed Friend is trained by Wayne Lucas, who is not here. He's in Kentucky today, 5-2. Wycliffe Man, 14-1. Tijano Couture at odds of 7-1. Then Fearless Play is 10-1. The favorite in the upcoming race is Too Smart at 9-5. Unite's Big Red is 6-1, and Valid Direction with Alex Solis is 7-1. So everybody getting down their bets, and we're fortunate in that Jerry Bailey does not have a mount in the Preakness, but we're going to use his services today for pre and post race analysis. The man who won this race in 1991 with Hansel. Jerry, you've ridden 3 races today, including 1 winner. How's the track playing?
I think the track's very uniform, Al. I came from about 4th position.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports. The Triple Crown is the most sought-after achievement in all of racing, and often is decided not by minutes or even seconds, but by the mere click of a stopwatch. There were Alydar and Affirm battling through the stretch of all 3 races 19 years ago, each race closer than the last.
But it's going to be Affirm. Affirm escaped off and is going to win this 104th running of the Kentucky Derby. Alydar is second to Here's the finish. Affirm wins it. Alydar beaten by a neck. Affirm's got a nose in front as they come onto the wire.
Only 3 clicks of the watch separated them in the end, but all 3 favored Affirm, the most recent Triple Crown winner. In the Preakness of 1989, the click of the watch favored Derby winner Sunday Silence as he beat Easy Goer in one of the great races of all time.
Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Photo finish. Noses apart.
But that dream was shattered when Easy Goer won the Belmont. Last year, trainer Bob Baffert thought he had won the Kentucky Derby on his first try, but the click of the watch was in favor of Grindstone over Cavalier. 2 weeks ago, Baffert feared a similar fate in this year's Derby as Captain Bodgett surged alongside his horse, Silver. And afternoon here in Maryland. So let's go up top to my ABC colleague in grand shape, Al Michaels.
Thank you, Jim. Always great to be in your hometown on this breezy day. And what a difference a year makes. Last year, as you mentioned, the Derby winner, Grindstone, was retired because of a knee injury. There was no electricity around the Preakness. There was no buzz at all. And this sport as a whole has really experienced a lot of problems in the 90s. But the sport appears to be rebounding, and it's symptomatic today, I think, that not only do you have the Derby winner returning, but you also have the top 3 finishers, and the stretch drive at Louisville was one of the best in recent years. You have 4 returnees. You have 6 newcomers, and a lot of people seem to think, look out for the fresh horse in the Preakness. That's really a myth. A fresh horse, a non-Derby starter, hasn't won this race since 1983. Here now is the field. We have 9 betting interests and 10 horses. 1 entry, Jack at the Bank and Hoxie, trained by Alfredo Callejas. The entry is at 40-1. Wild Tempest with Nick Zito, the conditioner, is 40-1. Then there is Freehouse. Right now he is a co-favorite at 2-1, the 3rd place finisher in Louisville. The best of the newcomers is Touch Gold. His odds 5-1. He gets Chris McCarron in the irons. Concerto, who was 9th at the Kentucky Derby, is 8-1, getting good backing today. New rider Mike Smith. Silver Charm, the Derby winner, is the 3rd choice of the bettors at the moment at 7-2. Then there's Frisk Me Now, a newcomer, at 20-1. Captain Bodgett, the Derby runner-up, at 2-1, and Crip 2, a newcomer starting from the outside. A long shot
for Charm. This time, the impersonal stopwatch was in Baffert's favor by that single flick. 121 horses have won the Preakness, but only 11 have gone on to win the Triple Crown. Can Silver Charm make it an even dozen, or will the click of the watch tell a different tale today? Whatever today's story is, it'll unfold before a crowd of 90,000 and more gathered at Pimlico for Maryland's greatest annual sporting occasion. The young people, well, they gathered in the infield early by the tens of thousands. Others arrived at a more fashionable time. The weather, well, is pleasant right now and the track is fast. It's time then for the 122nd running of the Preakness Stakes, the 2nd jewel in the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay at Pimlico. Preakness week is always interesting here, but this time there really has been extra anticipation. Why? Well, unlike last year's race, when the Derby winner was retired because of an injury before the Preakness, the first three finishers in Kentucky this year are here. So there's the potential of a continuing classic rivalry between Silver Charm and Captain Bodgett in the tradition of Alydar and Affirm, Sunday Silence, and Easy Goer. Bob Baffert, the trainer of Silver Charm, has been having a great time in Maryland, including throwing out the first ball at an Orioles game in beautiful Camden Yards. And Captain Bodgett, well, his home is at the nearby Bowie Training Center, so he arrived just an hour and a half ago. Win or lose, he'll have his dinner back in his own stall. So it should be a grand